Welcome to the deep dive. We often think ancient stories are just, well, ancient, stuck in the past.
Right, belonging to a specific time, a specific culture.
But what if some of the most famous ones, maybe even ones we think of as history, are actually telling us something deeper, something universal about us?
That's exactly what we're digging into today.
We're taking a look at one of the most famous judgments ever, King Solomon and the baby, the disputed child. And our mission really is to see how this story wasn't just a one-off historical event, but how it's echoed across continents through different cultures.
And what that tells us about human nature, we're drawing heavily today from Sir James George Frazer's big work, Folklore in the Old Testament.
Yeah, specifically part 3, chapter 11, he calls it the Judgment of Solomon.
And Frazer really argues that some stories just travel. They become universal.
Okay, so let's unpack this, starting with the original account.
The famous one? Yeah.
The Hebrew historian's record of Solomon's incredible wisdom. It's there in 1 Kings, chapter 3, verses 16 to 28.
That's the one.
It's the classic setup. 2 women living together.
Yeah.
Both had babies, but one baby dies.
And then the fight starts. Each one insists, the living baby is mine, the dead one is hers.
It's this impossible situation for a judge. How do you even begin?
And then Solomon, he does something drastic, something that still kind of makes you gasp.
He gives the order, cut the living child in 2.
And give half to the one and half to the other. It sounds barbaric.
Totally. But it's not really about cutting the child, is it? It's a ploy.
Exactly. It's a test. It's designed to force out the truth through sheer emotional reaction.
And Frazer really highlights this, doesn't he? How the whole thing pivots on maternal love, the deep instinct.
Absolutely. You see the real mother. She just breaks. The thought of it is unbearable.
She pleads, right? Oh, my Lord, give her the living child.
Just don't kill him. Her love for the child, just his being alive, overrides everything else, even her own claim.
She'd rather lose him entirely than see him harmed.
Precisely. That's the core of it. Her priority is the child's life. Full stop.
And the other woman?
Well, she's okay with the plan. Cold as ice. Let it be neither mine nor yours. Divide it.
Wow, that contrast. It's stark.
It's everything. That reaction, that difference, is the proof for Solomon. It's pure psychology. Not about evidence, but about the heart.
Right. Revealed by this incredibly high-stakes emotional test. Okay, so that's the story most of us know. But here's where Frazer adds this fascinating layer.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting. Moving from just history to something broader.
Frazer points out that, even though it's written down as history, as proof of Solomon's wisdom, the story itself just feels like folklore, like a popular tale that's been passed around.
It has that kind of almost archetypal quality, like a parable. It doesn't quite feel like a dry court record.
Exactly. It feels crafted to teach something timeless.
And that observation is so important because whether it happened exactly like that or not, historically speaking,
Right.
the story itself definitely took on a life of its own. It entered global folklore.
Frazer mentions it cropping up in all sorts of legendary literature. He specifically points to the Jains in India.
Yeah, traditions that Western scholars back then were, only just starting to really explore.
So the fact that the same basic story reappears in different places, different cultures.
It tells you something powerful. It suggests the story taps into a fundamental human truth that resonates everywhere. It's not just about Solomon. It's about recognizing real love, real sacrifice.
It's got this universal appeal.
Definitely. And Frazer actually details how 4 different Indian versions were found.
4. And they all apparently have this family resemblance, he says.
Yeah, similar to each other and similar back to the Hebrew version. It's quite remarkable.
So let's look at one of those, the Jain version Frazer highlights.
Okay. So in this Jain telling, you've got a merchant with 2 wives.
Right. One has a son, the other doesn't. But interestingly, the childless wife also looked after the boy.
Which adds a bit of complexity from the start. The lines are a little blurred.
Yeah, the text even says the child himself couldn't always tell them apart, asking, is this my mother? Is that one not?
Which is quite touching, actually. Anyway, the merchant dies while he's away.
And then the argument erupts between the wives.
But it's not just about the child this time.
No, that's a key difference. They're also fighting over who gets to be mistress of the house.
So there's property, social status involved too. It adds another dimension to the conflict.
So they take the case to court, a royal court.
And the minister presiding, guess what he orders?
Oh, no.
Pretty much the same thing. First, divide the property, then saw the child in 2 with a saw.
Ugh. With a saw, it's even more graphic.
Then give one part to each woman, the same horrifying test.
And the reaction, is it the same?
Identical in principle. The real mother completely breaks down. The description in the text is incredibly vivid.
What does it say?
It says, hearing the sentence was like a thunderbolt enveloped in 1,000 flames falling on her head. Her heart felt like it was pierced by a crooked dart.
Wow.
Look at.
Just devastating imagery.
She can barely speak, but she begs the minister. Ah, sire, great minister, he's not mine, this child.
She denies her own claim.
Completely. The money means nothing. Let him be her son. Let her be mistress of the house.
Oh my goodness.
She says she'll live in poverty, in strange houses. It doesn't matter. If only, she says, from a distance I can see that child living.
That's incredibly moving.
Without my son, she finishes, the whole living world is dead to me.
Just absolute selfless love. And the other woman.
Silent. Uttered never a word.
Says it all, doesn't it?
It does. The minister sees the first woman's genuine agony, her willingness to sacrifice everything.
And he knows.
He knows. He declares the child hers, makes her mistress of the house, and tells off the other woman.
And Frazer tells us where this version comes from.
Yes, it's from a Jain text called the Antarakatsam by Rajasalkara, dated to around the 14th century.
14th century. So centuries after the biblical account and thousands of miles away.
Exactly. And documented by a scholar named Tessitore in the early 20th century. It just shows how these stories persist and travel.
So, okay, we step back. We have the Hebrew story. We have this Jain story. Essentially the same plot, the same test, the same outcome. Worlds apart, centuries apart. What does it all mean?
Well, it points towards something pretty profound about shared human experience, doesn't it?
It has to.
Both stories, despite their different settings, tap into this incredibly powerful, almost undeniable force, parental love, specifically that instinct to protect.
And the test works in both cultures. The idea that true love means being willing to give up your claim, to sacrifice yourself for the child's survival, that's seen as the ultimate proof.
It speaks to kind of fundamental, maybe even intuitive understanding of human psychology. It transcends the specific religion or cultural background.
It's like some truths about care, about love, are just recognizable everywhere.
Exactly. It's not just about a clever judge finding a trick. It's about society, or at least the storytellers, recognizing a deep truth about what it means to genuinely care for someone else. That willingness to put their well-being completely above your own.
And that resonates whether you're in ancient Israel or medieval India.
Or frankly, anywhere today. Think about it. That core idea that real love involves sacrifice, that's still a bedrock principle in how we understand deep relationships.
That's true. And the Jain version with the added element of the property, the mistress of the house.
Yeah.
Does that change things? Or does it actually make the point stronger?
I think it might make it stronger. Because even with material wealth and social status on the line, the real test, the thing that reveals the truth, is still the reaction concerning the child's life.
Right. It shows that even when other motivations are swirling around, that primal bond, that selfless love, is seen as the most fundamental and most telling thing.
It cuts through everything else. It reinforces just how central that particular expression of love is seen to be.
So stepping back from just this story, Frazer's whole approach here encourages us to look at folklore differently.
Definitely. Not just as quaint old tales, but as carriers of these deep, persistent human ideas, patterns of thought and feeling.
It makes you wonder what other universal truths might be hiding in plain sight in the stories we tell, the myths we inherit.
About justice, maybe? Compassion, loss. How do these ancient patterns still echo in the way we think and feel today?
When we hear modern stories about sacrifice or profound love, maybe they resonate so deeply because they're tapping into these ancient, universal folkloric veins.
It's a really powerful way to think about the continuity of human experience, all embedded in narrative.
So we've taken this deep dive, guided by Frazer's folklore in the Old Testament, into the Judgment of Solomon.
And see, it's not just one story in one book.
No. From 1 Kings all the way to a 14th century Jain text, that core idea, the test of a mother's selfless love, it just endures. It's remarkably consistent.
It really highlights how certain fundamental truths about the human heart seem to be recognized, valued, pretty much across the board. They travel through time, through cultures, becoming part of our shared human storybook, our folklore.
This whole journey through these shared stories, it really makes you think, doesn't it? About how these narratives, passed down and reshaped, carry these essential truths about who we are.
So maybe the question for you listening is this. What other fundamental human experiences, what other timeless truths might be lying there, just beneath the surface, in the ancient tales and folklore that still shape our world? What wisdom connects us all through the enduring power of story?